loaded. Don't miss out on our dynamite lineup. You are watching the multi-awarded Radio Bandido TV on Channel 224 Sky Cable and TV Plus boxes. Simulcast on DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Informing, advising, and entertaining the Filipinos and OFWs around the world. Streaming live on www.facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 a.m. or on YouTube, channel RJAM News. The mystical, the magical, and the occult, made easy by G and Marge Santos on Mystical Buffet, aired every Saturday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. This program gives insights and guidance in the world of essential spirituality and wisdom of the ages. Its aim is to share extraordinary topics to everyday lives of ordinary people. Walk with them in a mystical, alternative, and less than ordinary path of life. Watch them every Saturday on Teleradio Bandido Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, digital free-to-air Channel 29, Facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 a.m. and YouTube channel RJAM News.
All right. So is it my turn? So hello there. I'm DJ Chin, and to all the people of the earth, may peace be your actions every day. So prayers for Ukraine, of course, is our intention, and their complete, unequivocal victory and recovery. Diba? So may compassion reign from all over the world and work towards achieving total victory and peace for Ukraine, and may the heavens go after evil and dethrone them completely. So for tonight, these are my peace intentions, and glory to God for making it so swiftly. So guys, moving on, I'd like to welcome you to Good, Great, Unstoppable, the Francine de las Alas show, and I'm your host for the evening. And we are live streaming from DZRJ 8:10 a.m. and also at Sky Cable channel. I think you can find us at channel 224. Then you can also, if you can't reach us there, if you don't have any cable, you can catch us at TV Plus boxes at channels in your area. Okay, then of course we have our YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, and also CLC nicely. All right. So in our part of the world, of course, thank God for good vibes and good story. This one caught my attention and Google, and I'm sure also you guys have seen this, as this actually went viral in social media and it's a major network feature. So this is about the working student named Jason Bangayan. This is even being mentioned here. He earned 2 scholarship offers for being able to take his exam while also doing his deliveries. So now that is what I truly call commitment. No excuses. So he was told that the food he ordered for his 2 customers will be ready in about 20 minutes and around the same time of his scheduled exam. And what impresses me equally is his intuitive assessment that he can do both things and at the same time finish while waiting. All right. So according to him, really, it's mind over matter. He's actually a criminology student. And so guys, diba, let's take it from him. It's always mind over matter. True that. And in my words, it's hashtag IQ over EQ. So ito pa yung aking, of course, wish for everyone. Hashtag sana all. Okay? So in our industry, it's the same thing. Most will put their fears and doubts first, ending up either where they were when they were invited or in much worse situation. So ewan ko ba, malalim talaga ang PC natin sa pagtitiis. Kaya pa pero lubog na sa utang, 'di ba? So sana guys, wag naman ganon. Okay, so let's take it from Jason. What's it? Bangayan, diba? It's mind over matter. So thank you, Jason, for teaching us that lesson. Okay, so anyway, here's just some of my Holy Week stories that came in this week. Last Monday, Thursday, I was curious if I could find a baligang supplier in FB Marketplace in Manila. Okay, I'm not sure if you know what baligang is, but it's actually also called lipote. And I'm so happy because I actually found a supplier, and it took me more than a week. It took more than a week before they could deliver, because probably because of the Holy Week last week. But finally arrived today. I should be showing you. Can you hold on a bit? Where is that? Ta-cha! Do you know this? This is baligang, or what they call lipote. So it got delivered this morning. Kala ko konti lang yung 1 kilo. I actually got 4. So I shared it with family and friends. Diba? And when I was reading about it, it's actually also good for maintaining healthy cholesterol levels. So you can check that out. You can check out, if you want to try this fruit and check out its health benefits, just Google it. But anyway, so I shared the 4 kilos with family and friends. And what's interesting also is that the rider of the Lala Move who brought us here is actually also from Bicol, and was actually surprised that Baligang was being sold pricely in Manila. Sa kanila daw, ito nalalaglag lang sa lupa at hindi pinapansin. Diba? I can imagine. So he said, if ever someone will come to Manila and it's season, he said, that ihahatidan niya kami. What a very nice guy, diba? I really love kindness and generosity. So now, if you're familiar with this, but as I said, it's also called lipote. It is found in the Bicol region, and according to the article that I read, it's endemic to the area, and sadly, it's also rare. Okay, so part of my childhood kasi was spent in Bicol. You didn't know that, and this is happens to be one of my favorite fruit. Mahilig ako sa maasim when I was young. So there was this fruit, this one, and also haggis, diba? So none of these fruits are, well, haggis, I've not found it in Manila, and I've not tried looking for a supplier yet in Facebook Marketplace. But anyway, this looks like duhat, but the flesh is a bit more fibrous. So fibrous there. So as soon as it arrived, I got some and ate it after the tub was yeah, when I got it, I put it in the tub right away, salted it, and then shook it, diba? So guess what? Sobrang asim niya. And I realized even more that I've already outgrown my love for sour fruits or sour food since I was in my 30s. I don't know why, diba? So this baligang, I think I will have to sweeten them up. I hope they can still ripen over the next few days. Because it's if you salt it and shake it in a tub, and it's more sweet than sour, mas masarap talaga siya, at least for me. But for those who like sour fruits, this is sobrang sarap talaga nito. I'm sure you guys will appreciate it. So look for the lipote if you want to try it. Lipote in Facebook Marketplace. I don't know her, but she's, I think, a fruit vendor or a fruit supplier here, and she has what they call this, many different suppliers from different parts of the country for fruits there. So anyway, so that's just my happy Monday Thursday story. I actually found them last Monday Thursday, but as I said, diba, it took more than a week to get it delivered. So ayun, so I'm just really very happy. Imagine after 35 years, nakain ko na din to. 35 long years. Back when we were in the province, I remember this was being sold outside our school in tumpok-tumpok, and then you can buy it they would the newspaper, they would shape it into a cone, diba? Yung isang tumpok nun, I think it was about, I don't know, 5 cents or 10 cents. Can you imagine? So I got this at 280 a kilo. So sabi na mahal daw yun. I think, so I don't know, maybe. Okay? So anyway, so today is actually a day of non-stop eating, diba? Because last night, or was it midnight, our neighbor was cooking. So I think it was past 12:30, and I could smell our neighbor cooking, frying sunny side up in longanisa. You kind of know the smell of egg when it's being fried. Diba? So when I woke up this morning, I had tosilog for breakfast with Mindoro rice. I don't know about what is it about regions lately, diba? Regional produces lately. But my cravings after getting a whiff of our neighbor's midnight cookfest made me crave for sunny side up and anything that and longanisa or tocino, basta dapat with Mindoro rice. I didn't want to eat it with anything else. Okay, how did I get? Why do I have Mindoro rice? Because my friend recommended it to me when I had my chili crabs cravings about 2 weeks ago. So cravings na naman. Everything that most likely that you will find in my kitchen or that we cook is always out of our cravings. So anyway, tama naman siya. Masarap ang Mindoro rice sa chili crabs. Masarap din siya sa tosilog. So to my friend who recommended Mindoro rice, shout out to you, Jan. Thank you. And I hope masaya dyan sa rally nyo sa Pasay. So anyway, speaking of food, diba, I'm so disheartened and discouraged. Last week I was talking about my weight and my problems, my struggle to lose pounds and inches. Diba? I'm having a hard time moving the needle of my weighing scale. And I think it's because one of the reasons ever since talaga is because of my polycystic ovaries, diba? So that means my eggs aren't maturing. So while I was searching though for segments to share, I actually found one that appealed to me. So I'm not sure if this is about, maybe this is about diet, diba? So I'm not sure also if it works because I could not read the article because I have to subscribe. So it means I have to pay. And I don't want, because the one, if I will subscribe there, I might as well really subscribe to the readable magazines that I prefer, like Time Magazine or Newsweek or what else, Neuroscientist or MIT Technology. It's so expensive. One day when I'm a multi-trillionaire, I will subscribe to all the magazines that I want. But anyway, so the title read that eating or having dinner at 7 p.m. could lead to a longer life, diba? That's according to the study that's a study about that article. So now, since I can't read it, just bring it to me, guys. Okay. So anyway, we all want to live longer, and I'm sure because I think because for one reason, getting sick is not an option. Diba? Being sick could lead to a shorter life, and a shorter life means that there are responsibilities that we may be leaving behind and behind that we are not ready to move from, diba? So, but at the same time, ironically also, most of us do not also want to live long poor. So we all want to live longer because because it means that could be getting sick, diba? For us to leave this world, but also none of us don't want to live long because nobody wants to live long poor. And that's true. I know to us, remember, I used to tell this story. I have a friend, a trainer, who would always ask his participants how many among them would like to live up to 100. And very, 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 very few raised their hands. But when asked the same question with the premise of being healthy, wealthy, and youthful, all of the participants, 100% of them would raise their hands. So it means that given the right condition, we all want to live longer. So now if you're subscribed to express.co.uk, please check out the article and do share here. Bottom line is if you eat at 7 p.m. and not eat anything after, and if you also eat healthier combinations and portions of food, you could be doing yourself a favor and could and you could live as expected. You know, the shelf life, the life expectancy in the Philippines, it's 70 plus, or 60 plus. Let's surf that. So what do you call that? Hold on, let's see, where are you? Ayan, sandali. Hanapin nga natin. Life expectancy, Philippines. Let's look for that. Let us look for that. I know it's not. I think it's 73, and I think in Korea it's 83. That's because of the diet, right? So hold on. We are connecting. Life expectancy, Philippines. Let's check that out. Hold on, huh? Life expectancy, Philippines. Philippines. 21, 21. There. Can you imagine? 71. So I'm right. Philippines 71. What about Korea? That's very low, guys. Especially in this day and age where we know more about health. See, it's really 83. In the Philippines, the life expectancy for 2021 is 70 years old. Can you imagine? That's very young. I'm 53 years old and I don't even feel old. That's because I have the great nutritionals. I have a great outlook in my life. I know how to heal myself emotionally when I'm down. And uh, and I take only as much as I can carry as a load because I'm not that strong. Also, I just choose my battle, so to speak, diba? So, but basically, 70, that's about like 17 years away, and that's not even very far. And as I said, in this day and age, that's 70 or 80, and even actually 85 is very, very young. Very, very young. So, anyway, so while you are maybe in your 20s, right, work both on your health and your wealth, your inner peace, right, your state of emotion, healthy state of emotions and spirituality, and keep improving yourselves. I think that's the best advice that I can give. Then eat at 7 p.m. according to and not beyond, according to that article. Okay. So anyway, hold on. I just got a message. I'm not sure. I have to read because I didn't know that my phone. Sorry, my phone got disconnected from the Wi-Fi, so I didn't see right away the message of our technician. Thank you. Sorry if it took me a while to say hello. But anyway, so there. If you want to live long, it has something to do also with your eating time. And it says there that 7 o'clock, as much as possible, have your dinner at 7 p.m. And let's all try to eat also healthy portions and healthy meals to help ourselves. Okay. So, anyway, if you do have, so if you are ever subscribed to that link, express.uk.co, right? You can look up that article, um, and uh, and when you do, kindly share the gist. Okay. So the article is called. Hold on. What's the name of the article? Eat dinner at 7 p.m. to live longer, something like that. Okay. So anyway, what else? So now, since we are already in the topic of eating, di ba? From baligang, right, to the tosilog, to having dinner at 7 p.m. so that we can live longer, I want to talk about belly fat. You know, the belly fat that we see among women, especially when they reach the age of 30s, or after, sometimes when they are already become mothers, right? Causes visceral fat to grow around the organs. Okay, um, so yeah, the polycystic, it turns out that it releases, I think, male hormones. That's why we gain fat around the belly the way men do. Okay, but the bad thing is that's not good news. Okay, it can cause heart diseases, insulin resistance, and other serious illness. You don't want to go there, diba? Just go to the hospital, to any hospital, and go to the ICU maybe, or in those go to patients with critical conditions, and have been in comas, and you just and ask yourself if those are the conditions that you want to be in. Okay. So I'm very concerned about visceral fat. Actually, this has been one of the things that I had been curious about for a very long time now, even back about 7 years ago, because I think this is one of my problem, and it's caused by my polycystic ovaries. For me, though, it's the reason now. The reason why I don't want belly fat, because for me, then it's also a confidence dampener. Diba? I mentioned naman last week that I miss dressing up and feeling good in the clothes that I want to wear. So every now and then, articles on health, fat loss, and weight loss really pulls me. And this one article I included in the segment deals with visceral fat. So ikaw rin, if you have belly fat and if you're a woman or a man, diba? We have to figure out how we can lose them. And one of the article that I found says that we can actually help target visceral fat while eating breakfast. O, diba? So this is according to dietitians. Now, if you want to read more on the article, you may also Google that. 5 ways to shrink visceral fat while eating breakfast, say dietitians. Okay. So according to the article, we need to know how to target visceral fat with our diet or what we eat so that we can feel better in the process. Okay. It says that though diet and exercise help reduce visceral fat by addressing them at our first most important meal of the day or during breakfast, we already have set us up for to a good start. Mahirap kaya yun because it's inside the organs. So if you're with me, diba, if you also want to fight visceral fat, these are the 5 tips that the article shared. First, you have to start breakfast with water so that it can jumpstart our metabolism. I don't do this. I actually drink water around 1 p.m. And that means I have been awake for 5 hours. I should make this a mindful exercise. This simple drink, to quote the article, can start the burning process of the visceral fat. I wonder if we drink right away 1 liter of water upon waking up, if it will speed up the process of burning that fat even more. And number 2, it says load up on fiber. You know that I'm always in awe of Korean breakfast because of the vegetable dishes that consist of kimchi. Diba? And vegetables. I'm not, of course, that's not my type of breakfast. My type of breakfast is pancake with bacon and pork and beans. And what else? Rice, sinangag, and tuyo. Ano pa ba? Sinangag, plain rice, that one, Mindoro rice with tocino. Or this, I don't like sweet longganisa. I'm in search of the best batotay in the country. There's this place I used to get it from, Belcap, before pandemic, and that batotay was really good. I like really garlicky longganisa. Okay, so not all garlicky longganisa are created equal, but this one supplier nailed the garlicky yumminess of it. Diba? Sobrang plain and simple. During the pandemic, I'm not sure, but they stopped supplying. One of the reasons is because they couldn't come into Manila because the supplies would come from the province. But ever since then, even when the alert levels were brought down, they could not anymore supply. So I hope that they are, whoever they are, I hope that they are safe, healthy, and sound, at ayaw na lang nila magtrabaho dahil mayaman na sila. I hope ganon. So anyway, the one who replaced the batotay from the shop that I would get, hindi na ganon kasarap. Corny na siya. But anyway, so yun yung aking type of breakfast. So I hope that I do get to learn how to eat vegetables for breakfast the way the Koreans do. Fibrous vegetables the way they do. So maybe toge, is that fiber? Anyway, so according to the article, the more fiber we have, it helps reduce the sugar and fat that is absorbed by our body. So that means I have to say goodbye to Tosilog, and say hello to maybe what? Can't even name a fibrous breakfast. Maybe I can put omelette lechugas. That's fibrous enough. Is that good? Kaya lang it's fried. But then it also makes sense, right? Because visceral fat, I think, it's created when the sugar, the starches, and the sugar that we eat cannot be anymore gets converted into fat. And if you have so much in our body, so syempre that gets accumulated. So it makes sense that we stay away from starches and sugar. Okay? So anyway, number three, embrace oatmeal, sabi niya. But please do not drown it in sugar. Visceral fat feeds more on starches and sugar kasi. So personally, sugarless oatmeal, I've tried this already. Is it so bad? Diba? Maybe you can pair it up with banana or have some fibrous fruit with it or maybe dried pusit. I don't know. But I've tried eating it. Diba? Okay lang naman siya. Maybe because I started with sugarless coffee, so I'm used so the blandness. I don't mind the purity of the taste, so to speak. So you can try sugarless coffee, half sugar. When I start with the sugarless oatmeal, I remember I would only put a hint, diba? Just so I can manage the taste and the cravings. And eventually, I took it out na rin. So maybe I should go back. But my problem though is I really want to do intermittent fasting because it's more effective that way. I'm also curious about keto though. But anyway, so number four, do not use sugar, maple syrup, or any sweetener that is that comes from I think canes or basta the sugar anything that turns into sugar in the body. Okay, don't use them during breakfast. So this is kind of like similar to number two, right? The second tip, load up on fiber. So anyway, I think also it's safe that if we can include lunches in dinner and staying away from sugar and starches, that's also gonna help reduce our visceral fat. Diba? So number five, avoid processed meats. So a really goodbye to to tocino. Anyway, I love tocino. So I love and my sausawan is suka with patis. Diba? I don't know if you do that, but there's one person who taught me to do that, diba? And mas nagustuhan ko siya, and ever since then, that's how I would eat my tocino. So yun, so to my overweight katropa, who is also struggling to lose weight and trying very, very, very hard. We can try this. So let's drink water first hour in the morning, diba? As much as we can so that it'll jumpstart our metabolism. Let's eat fiber, so oatmeal, diba? And no sugars and avoid processed meat. So that's pretty much what it says about how to outsmart, diba? And how to target our visceral fat. So I hope I can do that. So anyway, another thing. So since we are also speaking of health, there's another article, and I'm really very happy because it validates everything that I talk about in being happy. So anyway, being healthy is not just about physical health; it is also about emotional health and spiritual health. But let's talk about let's talk about anyway, let's talk about these two components, emotional and spiritual health. Since 2010, guys, I have been a student of happiness and have been living every principle since then. And one of the things that is universally true about honest to goodness happiness is that it is not stagnant. It is a hierarchical principle. That means it progresses upward, not just forward, diba? And at the same time, it's not one-sided or isn't self-centric. Happiness isn't self-centric. It will implode and explode and crash if you insist on being happy as you define it. So that means, respectively, we have to continuously grow, and that it is not just about us, but also about the communities around us. And I'm so proud when the one of the principles of happiness that I teach about gets validated. And ito na naman, isa na namang article. As I was searching for segment articles I wanted to share here, I came across an article on mindfulness meditation and its downside. And this is something that I have been very familiar. Very familiar. That's why I'm more mindful about the way I engage, the way I carry myself, the way I conduct myself. Otherwise, yun nga, I don't want to find myself in a depressive state, diba? So unnecessarily. So anyway, in a nutshell, mindfulness meditation, as we know, tends now to dismiss offending feelings, diba? To the point that we miss out, okay, to the point that we miss out on making healthy assessments of the triggers of the situations, and to the point that we also dismiss the surrounding communities, diba, where we are surrounding communities that we are engaging in. Okay, so we tend to instead dismiss the offending feelings, as we tend to think that it is too negative. Di ba familiar? Di ba parang makita mo sa Facebook mo, no to toxicity, I'm staying away from being toxic people, toxic environment. Di ba? It's too negative. Huwag kang negative. Di ba? We always hear that. Di ba? Without truly understanding what the repercussion is back to us. Okay? So, so in the principles of being happy, actually negativity is a constant relative. That means it's not negative. The where it's at, diba? It can be it's negative, but sorry, darling. So sorry, guys. So constant relative means that it is not just on a fixed. Parang it's not defined as an absolute na negative, then that's it, diba? We don't deal with it. So when I say constant relative, it means that not all negativity is dismissible. There is a negativity that leads to clues or even reasons and responsibilities we must learn we must learn to face head on and settle in a very healthy, unselfish ways. Because I remember there's a story, diba? There's this individual, a Facebook friend of mine, who used to be who made an effort to be very positive, okay? Kaya lang, yung values niya, di ba? Yung values niya medyo was stepping on someone, di ba? Just so he could gain more for himself. So mali naman yon, di ba? So he was called out. This person was called out by that person, by this person na tinatapakan niya. And by tinatapakan niya. So this person na nananapak, 'di ba? Nananapak, got offended. And ever since then, lahat ng mga parang niya, self-love, self-care, toxic people, it's me, like that, 'di ba? So instead of, 'di ba? Instead of finding the root cause of that issue and taking accountability for that action. Diba? Kasi hindi lang parang isang action yata. It was about to lead to more tapak action. Parang ganon. Okay? So anyway, so that's what I mean by not all negativity is dismissible. And when that happens, diba? When we don't face the clues or the reasons our responsibilities head on, we end and we don't and we end up being more selfish and being more hurtful. So what happened, naging post na grabe, from being a positive individual, the post became many posts became very negative, very angry, very self-centric, very ang tawag ito, very self-centric, tas very defensive. Yun, very defensive. So yun. So and when in fact, diba, and that's more tiring actually, diba? It's more emotionally imbalancing, so to speak, when we think that dismissing negativity outright is an absolute truth. Okay, so we have to remember that negativity is a constant relative. That means it's not dismissible. Not all negativities are dismissible outright. Okay, so yun nga. So as I've said, I've seen in the social media, especially in the day and age, we talk about self-love and self-care, and this has actually, and to the point that it has lost our personal accountability because we don't ask for self-love and self-care without coming from somewhere, diba? And a lot of those self-love usually comes from very toxic situations or self-critic toxic situations. Pero today, ang nangyayari, we get stuck there. 'Di ba? So when we get stuck there in that of not recognizing the truth in the negativity, so to speak, or the other truth or the other perspective in the negativity, um, what happens is it boomerangs back. It will come back kasi we missed out on the lesson. So it's gonna happen and happen. So this individual who dismiss the negativity for being called out, 'di ba? Kasi guilty nga naman, 'di ba? For being called out, he missed out on the lesson of bakit siya called out and focus instead on reprimanded or being called hindi naman reprimand, parang kinall out lang yung attention. Doon lang siya nag-focus sa feelings na yon, not on. So ngayon, in any situation where he is at, 'di ba? If he insists on that, he will do that same thing again. And then he may again find himself in a situation of being offended again simply because hindi niya natutunan yung lesson sa first. So it's gonna be cyclical. Okay? So we cannot become stuck, 'di ba? We cannot become in sort of like a uh, self-centeredness that is of that self-love and self-care, 'di ba? And usually, 'di ba, yeah, we cannot get stuck there, 'di ba? Otherwise yun nga uulit at uulit siya. So this is very much related to that mindful the downside of mindful meditation kasi nga same din, 'di ba? When we withdraw, 'di ba, to assess, we go through to save our peace of mind or to our inner peace, we go into sort of we learn about mindfulness meditation to calm ourselves, 'di ba? But what we have to be careful of is when we are calming ourselves is not to be dismissive of the lessons in that negativity. Otherwise, ulit-ulit lang siya. Then we come out as arrogant pa. Okay? So this person actually, I don't know, I haven't seen this person post in a while. So maybe, I don't comment naman. But at one time, I was worried because I used to know him as a good person. Right? So I checked on him and he said he's okay and he's not angry. But all the other posts showed otherwise kasi may mga may mga words na BS, don't F with me, mga ganun-ganun, diba? Ang layo. So halata mo talaga. So yun nga, nagiging arrogant. So that's, and if we being arrogant, siguro if that's where we want to get stuck in, diba? Dahil nga we are dismissive of the offending feelings for the sake of being dismissive of it. We should also, if we are going to be like that, we have to be ready for the perennial or cyclical situations where the offending feelings will arise. Now, this author says that that instead of just mindfulness meditation kasi is breathing exercise and calming yourself. That's it, diba? So, ang nire-recommend niya is that instead of mindfulness meditation, diba? Do instead loving kindness meditation so that it is all encompassive. Is that the right word? Encompassive. Tama. So anyway, but if you ask me, okay, a combination first of healing meditation, mindfulness meditation, and to serve other healthy purposes, and also loving kindness meditation, dapat ang ginagawa, hindi lang isa. Because there are so many triggers, so many reactions. We are a complex being. We have so many memories that emotional memories and even memories that can trigger any of these emotions, diba? So we cannot just say that this is that this kind of meditation will already take care of everything. So there are different kinds of healing meditation. So you address it. There are many kinds of meditation. So you use it. You use as much as you see fit for your healing and your wholeness. And the most important thing is, as I said, We know that we have not learned the lesson if we end up being self-centric. The only time that it's healthy to cordon ourselves off from that toxic situation is if it's already, one, we don't know how to handle it, two, very abusive, or it puts that in a it endangers us, yung mga categorically speaking. But if it's just because we were called out because our, 'di ba, medyo may mali tayong ginawa, eh medyo ayun yung mga dapat what that we cannot dismiss naman. Okay? So now, if you're curious about the article, just go Google mindfulness meditation reduces pre-social behavior, etc., etc., and that will already come out. All right, okay. So anyway, it's 7:40, so we're down to the last few minutes, and today we're all gonna be our topic is okay. Okay, so today our convo is very interesting. So ito muna yung segue ko. I have been this is a curiosity of mine, okay? I have been watching K-dramas for the last 2 years, and I think I just celebrated my anniversary with Bin this April. I just don't know what our exact date is of our first meet cute. Me and my remote and Netflix and siya on the screen, diba? So I remember, diba, Chloe was my maiden voyage into the world of K-dramas. And now I'm not going to be talking about K-dramas here. It's only a reference point. But one of the things I noticed, I've often wondered why in the series that I have watched, that Koreans seem to fly off the handle with rage, diba? And I even Googled it pa nga. I was so curious, why is it that, they just tend to shout or get angry kahit, diba, in situations that that is very ordinary pero may ganong scenario, di ba? So and there was actually a Korean American blogger who also wrote about it and explained why, di ba? But I didn't find my answer there. But today, while watching, I realized, guys, that Koreans, at least in the world of K-dramas, go in angry bird mode when their honor is rebuked or slandered. So pagpapansinin mo, yung may honor at stake, di ba? So this has always been a curiosity for me because one of the noticeable charms of Koreans and the K-dramas, at least, is their sense of self-respect, kindness, yung matulungin, filial piousness. Kaya it does not make sense bakit meron silang aspect of fitful rage. Until I discovered sa tagal ko, 2 years, diba, ito nga yung aking reference point, that most of the anger usually occurs when the honor of the person, especially of a VIP, diba, is being attacked or being challenged. So doon, basta honor is at stake. So, diba? So sa akin, that's interesting. I think, I can actually come up with the psychology and culture of Koreans and K-dramas and what we can learn from it. Diba? Now, the real context of our convo today, though, is based on this, that curiosity is, ano nga ba, diba? Anger issues and anger management. These topics also pique my curiosity, diba? Kasi very precious sa K-dramas, but I also have that in my home front. Pero hindi naman like K-drama way, diba? So, pero unlike the K-drama way, sa amin hindi honor. Pag nag-aaway kami ng asawa ko, parang out of pikon lang or ego, but I will discuss it later on. Okay. So anyway, so so today we're gonna our convo today is about anger issues and anger management. Okay. So one of the reasons that I also want to push this convo today because nga I also got to observe how my husband really mellowed through the years, and especially more so lately with the work from home setup since the pandemic. Diba? Kasi on other homes, in the domestic, during the pandemic, lalong nag-away yung mag-asawa. Diba? Sa amin, hindi. Okay? So today's convo will answer the following question. What is anger? So I think, diba, that's a very natural thing to start with. Number 2, we also answer how do we know we have anger issues so that at least you know, diba? And number 3, how do we resolve them? Okay? So first set is anger. Basically, guys, ang reference ko dito Psychology Today, so you can go and Google that also. Anger, according to Psychology Today, is one of the most basic human emotion. Okay? So anger emotion is much much of our basic emotions are tied also to survival. That's why we have them there, diba? So it makes sense. We often get angry when we feel somehow or some way we are attacked. And if I may add, feel a compounding helplessness. So kung let's say sunod-sunod that wala ka nang magawa, dumarating sa point na galit ka. Like now, what's going on with our campaigns, di ba? Between MMM and Pink Pink Pink, di ba? Nag-aaway-away na sila. Kasi pag titignan mo, the other side feels so helpless with the corruption already, with the pagnanakaw, di ba? Parang walang nangyayari. So dumating na sa point na galit na sila. So ganun yun. So anyway, yung kabilang side naman galit na galit dahil I don't know why sila galit na galit. Siguro galit na galit. Dapat kung feeling nila ay confident na sila, hindi na dapat silang pumatol. Pero nag-aaway-away pa rin sila. So wala, sa kanila si As, malamang ego. Yun. And I will discuss that here. So anyway, according to the article, anger is connected or has its roots on fight, flight, or freeze response. And thus, it prepares us to fight. Now, according also to the article, it does not necessarily mean that we will be throwing punches or kicks will be flying off the air. Walang ganon. Diba? Pwedeng ganon for others. Diba? So, but anger when not managed or controlled or not in check can hurt relationships and even indirect interaction, such as what we see in road rage or, you know, those senseless crimes. Diba? Na out of galit lang eh. So anyway, being powerless against our feelings of anger, losing our temper as a result of, is for me a very unhealthy state to live with and live by. Diba? Fits of anger, unresolved anger can cause other emotional stresses such as anxiety, depression, cyclical na yan, diba? And can lead to irrational and even regrettable behavior. So that's what we are trying to keep up. I get angry, guys, diba? But I always ask myself, I get angry, but what is the difference with those other people who get angry and then take action? Me, my anger is parang I think about kung yung anger na yon is sensible ba siya, makes sense that I carry it out. And you know what? Most of the time, 99.9% of the time, 99.99999, di ba? 0.001 lang siyang pwede ko i-carry out. So that means hardly, di ba? It's not parang worth it to even spend my emotions on that or my time and my energy, my energy or my focus on it. Diba? I would rather make money and become rich and help my family. So parating ganon, diba? So now, ngayon, so that is what anger is, diba? It is our human nature. It is for our survival, diba? And it has its roots on fight, flight, or freeze response. So because it's for survival, it readies us to fight. Not necessarily physical fight, but it can be another kind of outlet fight. So na, ano ba yung mga outlet fight? Mga away-away na rin sa social media, di ba? So now, how do we know if you are in the red flag zone? Di ba? How do we know that our anger issues need to be addressed? That we have anger issues, and ano yung traits nito? Ano yung qualities na to, di ba? Na dapat that we have to be aware of. Okay, so one may have, according to the article, have anger issues or traits when have a fragile ego, diba? My husband, sa husband ko, it's more of fragile ego yung sa kanya. Okay, when we were, I think most married couples are ganun. Kasi ako, pagtatanong, bakit ako wala? Meron ba akong fragile? Hindi talaga ako mapatol ever since when I got married. I remember parang I would always choose which was a relevant fight or not. Diba? So when, so maraming hindi talaga. Kasi, I don't know, so maybe parang siguro I just put, yun nga, as our rider said kanina, si Jason Bangayan, di ba? It's mind over matter talaga. Maybe I've always been like that. So, you may have anger issues and ang mga traits mo is you have fragile ego. Konti lang pikon ka kaagad, di ba? Ayaw mo parang ikaw yung, kunwari, nagtawanan, tapos ikaw yung pinagtawanan, galit ka na kaagad. I have a friend ganyan, pero nagpapa-ice cream yun. After niya mapikon. Pag nag-sorry na kami, pa-ice cream ka naman. Nung college kami. College talaga masaya. But anyway, 2, you have low tolerance for discomfort. 'di ba? Parang or for discomfort so kunwari like maiba lang yung ano you just have to adjust a little kasi let's say naiba lang yung environment mo, 'di ba? Iinit na kaagad yung ulo mo, 'yon, 'di ba? We tend to focus on focus or hyper focus on blame. Everyone's at fault but ourselves. This is true. In fact, bago ko nakita tong part na to ng trait in the article, I was the trait that I know is it blames everybody. It does not take accountability of the situation. So ito na nga, focus or hyper focus on blame, 'di ba? May kilala rin akong ganito, 'di ba? Lahat na may kasalanan puwera sila. So ayun. But anyway, tapos two, one cannot accept the perspective other perspectives, 'di ba? Other perspectives, sila lang ang tama parate. Okay? So kapag of course it can if it becomes an argument or what, meron din akong kilalang ganito. And tawag dito, hindi maganda yung kinahinatnan. 'Di ba sa mga road rage? Sino sila Eldon Magduan, 'di ba parang may away-away yung away-away, 'di ba? Oh. So that one. So one when we cannot accept the perspective of another person or another individual, yon, 'di ba? Yung mabilis tayong mapikon yan. Tapos when we tend to control the environment and it doesn't go, yon, because if it doesn't go our way, yan. So ikaw ba kinokontrol mo lahat? 'Di ba? When we have a sense of entitlement, such as those that we see in road rages or yung mga mga road rages, yun lang naman ang meron tayo, 'di ba? Or maybe sa mga politics, yung mga 'di ba, yung mga ano tawag doon, riding in tandem, siguro ano yun, yung nagpa-call ng hit sa kanila, napikon sa kanila, 'di ba? Has anger issues, siguro yun din, 'di ba? Or a sense of entitlement, or yung behavior wise we know, 'di ba, yung nakita sa behavior, mabilis umingit ang ulo natin, we easily tumataas kagad ang boses or naninigaw, 'di ba, maangal kaagad or angas, ayan, 'di ba? Mas we easily vent out kaagad or kaya we cuss or we call names and our verb we cuss, mumura tayo kaagad, or we call names do sa tao, 'di ba? Kunwari hindi bawal pala dito, or become verbally or physically hurtful, offensive, 'di ba? Yun yung mga traits na yun. So meron pang mga diniscuss doon na traits, konti lang naman, but it's kind of medyo difficult terms not to understand kasi it borders on psychology na. So but basically, 'di ba, I chose the ones that are very a common occurrence when it comes to though individuals with anger issues. Ayan, fragile ego, have low tolerance for discomfort, blames others, hindi sila at fault, cannot accept the perspective of others, tend to control the environment, have a very high sense of entitlement, 'di ba? And quick behavior, 'di ba, mga knee-jerk, tumataas kaagad ang boses, masigaw, maangal, maangas, 'di ba? Nag-vent out kaagad, like or nagka-cuss or calls names or are verbally or physically offensive. 'Yun, 'di ba? And I think sometimes I don't know kung tama 'yun kung defensive. But anyway, these are the traits. So these are just some of the nature of an angry an easily angered individual. So if I were you, 'di ba? If you think you can tell naman because every day if you are a source of toxicity, if there's something toxic within your environment, 'di ba? And you're always kasama, 'di ba? Then you have to check baka galing sa 'yon. So if I were you, if you're concerned, 'di ba? Rate yourself from 1 to 10 sa traits na 'yon, 'di ba? 10 being very angryable. or very true, and one being not so naman. So kapag ito, do I have a fragile ego? I do. So scale of 1 to 10 in terms of the anger issue, siguro 2. Have low tolerance, so hindi. 1. 0 pa ako dyan. Focus on blame, no, then I take accountability. 1 cannot accept perspective of others. I think I'm in the 2 or 3. Diba? So I'm not on the high end. I tend to control our environment. No then, diba? So I'm on the maybe 1 or 2 or 0. High sense of entitlement, lalo na, hindi rin. So 1 or 0. Behavior-wise, I don't shout. Hindi ako maangal. Hindi ako ma-scream. I don't vent out. I don't Because if I do, it's inside my head. Di ba? I don't call out names. Di ba? If I do, it's inside my head. I don't carry it out, and I'm not verbally or physically offensive. Di ba? Hindi ko ginagawa. Well, if I rated myself ng either 0, 1, or 2, diba, then that means I'm really not an angry person. So, yun. So, kayo, i-rate nyo rin yung sarili nyo so that you have a baseline, diba? Awareness of that is already a good step if you wanna help yourself rid your mind, heart, and body of an angry behavior or nature. So, number 3, last question, how do we resolve, diba? Then, rating yourself above is a first step because that's awareness, okay? We need to be aware of our emotional and physical behaviors when anger spikes. Kailangan sobra. Okay? So as you go, as you go along, maybe the traits are not discussed here or the triggers, di ba? Pag nagalit ka, sulat mo kaagad so you know what to watch out for. Okay? It's good to have a list of what to watch out for and what you have or can work on. So from being aware, next is working on each one for our mental and emotional health. Diba? So kung meron kang list na ikaw makas ka kaagad or ma-fragile ego, diba? Isa-isa yun mong ayusin yun. Diba? Parang learn to listen to others, stop yourself, bilang kami mga techniques yan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, count, and then respond rather than react. So maraming mga techniques yan that you can look for, okay? So, so work on each one for our mental and emotional health as well kasi meron tong if we do we also improve our relationships not only inside of our intrapersonal relationship but also our interpersonal relationship. So if you ask me, the fastest is to watch our Mia, this is what I do. The fastest is to watch our our knee-jerk mental reaction in our engagement day by day, especially with someone that who can potentially trigger toxicity or anger, diba? So that's what I do. I watch my knee-jerk. I watched my knee-jerk mental reactions. Ano yung nagtitrigger sa akin? Sumagot ka agad, diba? So a lot of the programs kasi, why am I saying this? Because a lot of our programs that have solidified in our heads stems from all our experiences ever since childhood. Diba? So a lot of them are knee-jerk reactions that mental knee-jerk reactions that we exhibit verbally, physically, or even emotionally. So in the case of my interaction with my husband, I always wondered bakit kasi siya talagang knee-jerk na talaga reaction siya all the time, diba? And since hindi ako pala patol, I know how to not engage in it. But there are times, diba, I said nga, I'm very strategic. After siguro mga 10 days or 15 days or 20 days, diba, I would tactically fight back and then make my point, diba? Call mo parang make my case, argue my case, make my point until maintindihan niya that there's no need to be toxic, that there's no need to raise the voice kasi pagka maintin ng ulo mo or you have anger issues, there is no right timing and there are no right words. Anything can set you off. And that was the case with my husband noon. And he has mellowed down na, pero meron pa rin, di ba? So parang, meron pa rin, not as frequent, as in like, kaya lang, di ba, natitrigger pa rin ako, di ba, kahit na kote. So, but I would, yun nga, engage tactically. But I didn't want to be triggered anymore kasi parang it was not, parang smart naman na, alam mo na ngang may ganon, di ba? So, what I did was, yun nga, I watched my mental knee-jerk reaction, saan ako nagre-respond, di ba? So, my husband is the same also. I noticed that both of us tend to just react, whether it's good or bad, di ba? And especially during trigger and bouts of misunderstanding, all our reactions namin sa dalawa, kapag may trigger nga, di ba, are all knee-jerk. So, kumbaga, hindi nag-iisip, di ba? Salita lang ng salita yung utak, verbalize lang tayo ng verbalize kagad kung yung sinasabi. So, the tendency is potentially long-playing cycle of he said, she said, he did, she did. So, kung hindi isa sa inyo smart, hahaba yun hanggang buong araw, 2 araw, magkaaway kayo. So, fortunately, hindi naman ganun sa amin kasi meron ngang ako. As this goes on, parang ang dating walang nagpapatalo. Ang dating, walang magpapatalo sa inyo, kaya pahaba siya ng pahaba. Okay? So, the emotions run higher, the voices get louder, 'di ba? Nagpakasigawan kayo, and when it seems hopeless, baka may masabi pang below the belt, 'di ba? Na mas offending pa. So, but observing the script of the banter, the script meaning the mental knee-jerk script ng to and fro sagutan namin, 'di ba? And the hurt it caused, napapansin ko there's nothing there. Walang from the origin ng trigger. So, sumama lang, lumaki lang yung argument dahil kung ano-ano yung nasabi. Okay? So, but kung ikakabit ko siya doon sa origin, very, very, yung pain na yon was caused, is mostly, mas related pa siya doon sa naging knee-jerk reaction kesa doon sa origin kaagad. Okay? So, what I did is, I watched my reaction first, and then nung nakita kong I tend to react, I would now learn to let, parang count 1, 2, 3, 4, diba? And 4 or 5, and see if there's something worth responding to that. Pag wala, move on na. So when I was done with myself, natuto ako mag-respond sa kanya, and now I say things, I say things calmly naman. Pero sabihin, mas more purposeful na ako magsalita sa kanya in a more mindful kind way pa. Saka siya naman yung tinuruan ko. Ganun. Okay? So, we can, saan naman yung tinuruan ko? Na panoorin niya rin yung sarili niya, yung knee-jerk reaction niya, and then binigyan ko rin siya ng process on how he can actually manage muna those knee-jerk reaction and choose which one to let fly off, or which one to just discard. Ganon. So ngayon, we are happier kasi we get to enjoy being around each other more kasi wala nang ganon, di ba? And now, I get to ask him, are you angry today? Kasi nga, usually doon ang system yung doon meron parang, pag nag-away na kami, parati niya sasabi, may pinanggagalingan something. So now I get to ask him about it too. Is there that particular anger from the past that is in you today? So nagaganon ko pa siya. And I think that makes him also happier kasi nakikita rin niya, hindi mo pala ako talaga galit. So if there are any triggers today, walang connection yon sa any other. So walang galit. Okay? So that's my style. Anyway, so now we've come to the end of my show. It's already 8:01. I hope meron kayong natutunan. Let me just say that anger issues can be our default, but management and even healing can change all that and improve our quality of life, our relationships, and also our emotional state. You can read more about it in Psychology Today if you want to help yourself further. But in the meantime, guys, to everyone, I just want to say, this is DJ Chin. Thank you for staying with me tonight. And good night, and see you again next Saturday po.
The views and comments of the hosts and guests are not necessarily those of the station.